Your first thought after the break is, do I have a shot on the 1, and can I get from that 1 to the 2 ball? If you can, good, you can move forward. Is there any clustered balls? That's your second thought. Is there any big, obvious problems to running this rack? And in this rack, there isn't, so good. Well, what's a potential problem coming up the road? What ball is blocking what ball? What ball should I shoot in each pocket? And once you have that decided, then it's time to move on to the 9 ball and how to get from the 8 to the 9, how to get from the 7 to the 8, the 6 to the 7, the 5 to the 6, the 4 to the 5, the 3 to the 4. The 2 to the 3 and the 1 to the 2, although you've already decided how to get from the 1 to the 2. During that process, you should be refining your thoughts on what are the problems and what are the potential problems, and there's a lot of problems with this rack. We can get below this 2 or straight in on the 2, but this 5 ball is complicating that issue. That is a serious problem. This 4 ball is very close to this side pocket, so we can't use this part of the rail to bounce up on the 5. So your thought should be, should I get behind this 4 ball to shoot the 4 in this pocket and bounce up in line for the 5, which if you notice, if you shoot a tiny little bit of draw, if you get straight in on the 5, you can be right in on the 6, and the 7's not far away. But how are we getting from the 7 to the 8? That 7 to the 8 is another potential problem. So yeah, this is a complicated rack and there's all kinds of issues in it, so let's go ahead and continue. How do we get from this 8 to this 9? Where do we need to be on the 8 to get to the 9? If all this seems like a ton of work to you, you're underestimating the power of your own brain, which can work in lightning speed, way, way, way faster than your body. And the more you start thinking this way, the faster you'll get and the easier it will get, until you can look at any table after the break and size it up in a matter of 5 or 10 seconds. That's how fast your brain is. Now, most people would choose to be over the 8 ball on the left-hand side of the 8 ball so they can use that rail to get back on the 9. I like, and if you noticed in my videos, I'm always going under the line in balls like this and just power stunning them out or drawing them out to right position on the following ball. I don't know where that came from. It's just what I do. And this is another interesting topic. Everybody has their own kind of quirks and weird styles and ways they like to shoot the ball, and shots that they're confident with and other shots that they're not confident with. And your whole style and game and choices are molded around what you like to do or what you're better at doing than other things. So you're constantly, if you're good at following balls and using rails, you're going to continue to play shape to follow balls and use rails. If you're good at drawing balls, you're going to continue to mold your game around drawing balls. It's just the way it is. Nobody plays every rack exactly the same, and they vary greatly amongst the greatest players in the world, because these guys, although they always work on their weaknesses, there are things they do better than other things, and that's what, that's how they play. That's their style. And that's great. Everybody has their own style. We're not a bunch of robots. So I'm choosing to get under this 8 ball on the right hand side of the 8 ball, and I'm going to draw it back to get in line for this 9 ball. But where do I need to be on the 7 ball to get on the right hand side of this 8 ball? And I can easily tell you that we need to get on the left hand side of the 7 ball in order to shoot the 7 in the side pocket. It's either that or come up on the left-hand side, almost against that rail to shoot the 7 down there in the corner and roll up on the 8. But I like the idea of shooting the 7 in the side and getting on the 8. But in order to do that, I have to be on the left-hand side. Pretty extreme left-hand side of this 7 ball. So how do I get there from this 6 ball? And there's a number of different ways to do it. This plan changes, but again, going back to the 5, if we hit a draw shot on the 5, if we get on the line on the 5, we can just roll up for the left-hand side of the 7 ball to right about here, and you got it, Scooby. You can get down there on the 8 ball, get back on the 9, and win this game. So you can see the complications coming in here. But what are we doing with this 4 ball? Are we getting in the back of it to shoot it in this corner, or are we getting over here to shoot it down there and, under that 4 ball line to right about here and stunning it out for that 5 ball line? How are we doing that? If you go back and look at the 3 and the 2, the best way to do it for me is to get straight in on the 3 and draw it back to this rail, get up under that 4 ball, and get kind of far away from that pocket because you have more room to work the further away you are on the 4 ball. There's more room here than it is here, and you don't want to get straight in on the 4. You're going to have a difficult time on this 5 ball if you do that. So you want to stun it out for that 5 ball line. I think I can get from the 2 to the 3 up under on the right hand side of this 4 ball line and stun it up for that 5. And you know the plan from the rest. Drawing back a little bit, getting straight in on the 6 to shoot it in that corner, coming down a little bit, getting on the left hand side of the 7 ball, stunning it out, stunning it all the way down the table, get up under this 8 ball on the right hand side and drawing it out to get right on this 9 ball. There you go. I know that seems like a lot. It's not as much as you think. So let's take a look at the shot I choose to shoot on the 1 ball. Let's look at the 1 ball line. And there it is. And you'll notice that I'm staying the hell away from that 5 ball. I'm staying well ahead, well on the right hand side of that 5 ball because it's scaring the dickens out of me. It's like the thought of miscuing on the TV table at the U.S. Open. I ain't doing it. Yep, I'm staying away because I know I can get above this 5 and still get straight in on that 3 to draw it back up under that 4 ball line. It's a little bit touchy on the 3 ball shot, but I think we got this, Scooby. Alright, I got a little bit closer to that 6 ball than I wanted, but all you have to do on this shot is roll it up softly, put a hair of left-hand English on it to keep it from going further up table, and you should be right on that 3 ball line, which is the objective, so everything's going well and we can continue rolling. It's good. I'm right on the 3 ball line, and life is good. Living well and loving Jesus, as the Tiger King folks say. This shot is touchy, and you know the objective. I'm trying to get back to here for a stun shot on that 4 to stun it out for that 5. So I have to get under this 4 ball. This 4 ball line on the right side of it if you're looking down the shot and getting ready to shoot it. Yeah, the 3 ball, I would say the 3 ball is probably the key shot in this whole rack. It's a little debatable, but whatever. You stay down, keep your stroke straight, follow through, and you should be able to draw back. Whether or not you can draw back to pinpoint precision is a different story. Practice it, Scooby, and you should be okay. When you're shooting to be this precise and you're leaving yourself basically no margin of error, and by that I mean I'm really seriously trying to get straight in on this 5 ball, something's bound to go wrong because you're not leaving yourself any margin of error. And no human being is this perfect. And here's where it goes wrong, but not on the 3. I did fine on the 3, got exactly where I wanted to be on the 4. But when I shot the 4, I goofed up a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and shoot it first and then show you where I goofed up. Did you catch that? Here, I'm gonna loop that back just a small tiny little clip, and I'm gonna play it again. And it's about the chalk tapping, and this is something I do all throughout my videos on YouTube, but I never explained it. Let's go ahead and go back in slow motion, then we'll go back in real time. Many years ago, I developed that habit as a way to bookmark that shot in that game. And after the game, or when the match was over, when the tournament was over, or whatever, to go back and set that shot up again and practice it until I get it. I'm not happy with how I shot that shot. And you might look at it right now and say, what the hell is the problem? Everything looks fine. But it's not fine, and this camera angle is a little bit deceiving sometimes, especially with this particular shot here. It looks like I'm pretty close to straight in, but I'm not. And so, yeah, that chalk tapping is a habit I use to tell myself, look, you can do better than that. You need to practice that. Don't forget that. There's been one person throughout my whole life who has caught that, and his name's James Lewis, and he uses that to troll me and to shark me and to try to throw me off my game because he knows I'm not happy, and he kind of rubs it in. If I was a half ball closer to that 5-ball line, I'd still be okay, and I would still be able to get on that 6-ball line, although the cue ball would be a little bit closer to the 6-ball than I wanted it to be. The plan would continue of me shooting that 6-ball in that corner pocket and rolling up for the right angle on the 7 to get back on the 8 in order to get on the 9. So the plan would stay the same, but that's not the case. I cannot hold this cue ball on that line, so I'm going to have to rearrange the plan just on this one shot, because I can still get on the left hand side of the 7-ball and still get the right angle if I shoot this 6-ball in this corner instead. So now let's rearrange this graphic a little bit, and I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm now shooting the 6-ball in this pocket, but in order to get right on the 7-ball and keep the rest of my original plan going, I still have to get to the left side of the 7-ball. And not just the left side, but kind of the extreme left in order to get the right angle to get down there under that 8-ball line. In order to do all that, if you're looking straight down the 6-ball shot and getting ready to shoot it, I need to stay on the left-hand side of that 6-ball. That's pretty much all there is to it. I wind up getting kind of a little too close to that line, and I have more work cut out for me than I intended it to, but that's where we're going to cut back and do the loop back to see how I handle it. I'll give you a hint on how I handle it before we go through the loop back. But the whole objective here is to really stroke this 5-ball shot and keep that cue ball on the left-hand side of that 6-ball line. If I do that, I think I got this. I went a little bit further than I wanted to go, and I'm not much on the left-hand side of that line, but I am on the left-hand side. I'm also a little bit closer to the rail than I want to be, but I think it's going to be okay. I still think I can get the right position on this 7 to get back on this 8 in order to get on this 9. We're going to play it all over again from start to finish without any interruptions, and with some good music in there too. Practice your mental game and practice thinking like that. And you don't have to do it, in your own game. You can go watch YouTube videos and watch other people play and plan out their entire racks in your head. I hope everybody's doing good. I put a ton of information in this video, and I hope you take it all to heart, and I hope your game just exceeds through the roof.